चलो भाई।
We're just going to wait a couple more minutes to let any latecomers join the meeting. If you could please mute your microphone and then hold all of your questions until the end. We're going to go over some PowerPoint slides, give you some important information, and then we will go over any questions that were submitted via our form prior to the session. And then we will have time at the end for a live Q&A, so you can put questions in the chat or raise your hand then. But we just ask you to hold your questions until after we've gone through the slides and the submitted questions. Great. Okay, looks like it's slowed down in the waiting room. Erica, if you want to go ahead and get started.
Yeah, sounds good. Good morning or good night, depending where you are today in the world. So today we're doing the orientation Q&A for you all who are coming in for fall. So in the chat, please let us know who's here. Who do we have with today? What programs are we representing? Computer science, DSAE, RAS. Put that in the chat so we know who all is here. All right, looks like we have DSAE today. Computer science. All right. All right, a few RAS. Any IE? Oh, perfect. And some software engineering as well. Perfect. Welcome all. So we're Sky, and these are the programs that we advise for. So welcome all. Let me go over the agenda here real quick. Here we're going to go over important reminders. We're going to go over priority tasks from your IASU. Please make sure to mute yourselves as well. We're going to go over registration and courses, how to register for courses, going over deficiencies for those who have been assigned deficiencies in their admit letters, interactive plan of study, contacts, Q&A, breakout rooms for you all to get to know each other. So as we go through these, please hold your questions till the end. I don't want you to miss out on a question that you're so focused on and you missed the answer. And then we're going to go through the submitted Q&As, and then we'll open it up for live questions either through chat or, you're welcome to unmute yourselves at the end and ask those questions, okay? All right, so important reminders. You do need to complete your orientation. There is a quiz, so please enroll into that orientation if you haven't done so. There's a lot of important information in there. A lot of the information that we will go over today is also included in there, plus a lot of resources for you all. So please make sure that you're doing this. Before you come and see us for advising, it just makes for a more in-depth conversation with us advisors and with you as well, instead of us having to redirect you towards the canvas where most of these answers are. Okay, something new for this upcoming semester, computer science. So if you're in the computer science program, there is a new culminating event. It's applied project. This is new to us as well. And for you guys, in terms of computer science, we have a page for this that gives you more information in depth if you decide to do this. And we will have future Q&As for this as well. Okay. All right, so important reminders. This is just going to be brief. We will go over this more in depth as we go through the slides. So All right, so make sure that the last day to arrive is August 22nd. That is when classes start. Fifth, if you are a funded student. For those who cannot arrive in time, please defer your admissions. Deferring your admissions means you're going to come here and start the semester after. So if you don't think that you're going to make it here by those deadlines, please defer before September 4th, okay? Before or on September 4th. For those who are international students, final date to issue your I-20s, it's coming up July 22nd. Final date to issue any CVIS transfers is August 22nd, again, the first day of classes. Complete priority. Sorry about that. Complete priority tasks on your My ASU. So on your My ASU, normally on the right-hand side, you'll see a priority task with a arrow, a small arrow. Click on that. That'll bring down more information regarding that priority task with whom you need to contact. And then, of course, enroll. You can enroll. We have 1 month, a little bit about a month to enroll into those courses before classes start. And you can make changes until August 28th, right? So priority tests. These are if you have any that have holds, you'll know their holds. They're bolded in red. Sky Advising does not put any of these holds. We can provide you with resources to where you need to go. But again, each priority test and each hold will have a drop down. It will tell you who you need to go to in order to clear these holds. As Sky Advising cannot clear these holds on your behalf, you need to reach out to the proper department for that. So here's a few of those contacts for the most common um, priority tasks: enrollment deposit, degree certification, financial guarantee, your immunizations and insurance, and so on. Okay. All right, so registering for classes. So you could do this through two different methods. You can do this through the class search or through your My ASU. So on your My ASU, under your classes, you have this registration button here with a side arrow. Will drop this down for you, so you'll be able to add classes into your shopping cart. You can also do it through the class search and add from here as well, and that'll add it to your shopping cart as well. Okay. All right, so deadlines, classes again begin August 22nd. Tuition August 25th, and there's important deadlines that you can find from your My ASU or the full academic calendar. There's a link on your My ASU that takes you to that calendar. These registration dates are important. It does let you know when the last day to drop a class is, the last day to register for a class. So please make sure that especially if you're international, that you make sure that you're fully enrolled for your first semester, and that you have a chance to add all your classes before that last day to add that class. So you'll notice when you're adding classes that there are some reserved seats. For some courses, just check the dates for when those reserved seats will come off. And when those come off, these reserved seats will go down to non-reserved available seats. If you see any that are already in the non-reserved, that means that that class is available for any student. Sometimes you'll notice that you will fit one of these as well. And if you see those available seats, you should be able to enroll for those. Just an FYI. Advising cannot help you override a class that's already full or have reserved seats, okay? So if a class is full, just be patient. We do have a month for classes for us to set our schedule. So if a class does open up, please enroll to the class. I recommend that if you haven't yet, enroll into those 3 courses or enroll into 3 courses. And if a desired class does open up in between now and the start of classes, just swap into it. It'll make it easier for you to have an established schedule for the semester. And then overrides, if there's permission overrides, we do have a page for this that you can submit those overrides to. Such classes are usually for thesis and other classes that are shown here. Okay, so deficiencies. So look at your admission letter. Your admission letter will let you know if you have any deficiencies assigned to you. So it's important that you clear these deficiencies. A lot of your grad courses require you to have this knowledge and foundational knowledge for you to succeed in that course. So make sure you're also looking at courses and syllabus to see how well you think you may do in those classes. Um, so there's three options to clear your deficiencies. The first one is through a waiver option or a reevaluation. So make sure that you do this before the start of the semester. Another one to do is do a refresher course or exam, basically letting us know that you do indeed have this knowledge. And again, these two options, options 1 and 2, are to be done before the first day of classes. So before the start of the semester. If you cannot get these done before the start of the semester, then you only have option 3. So option 3 is you have to take the course during your first year of your academic program. So the first 2 semesters, you want to take care of it before. You want to prioritize it too. You don't want to wait till the second semester just because you can. Doesn't It's not always recommended. It's always good to have it done in your first semester if possible. All right. So again, the deadline to request a reevaluation or to test out is August 21st. Okay, so make sure that you get this done if this is what you plan to do. So we do have here about a month for you guys to take care of those if you do have any deficiencies. After that, you will have to do the actual course. Okay. All right, so continue with deficiencies. If you are going to be taking the course, you do have that 1 calendar year to take care of any of those assigned deficiencies. After that, you may be put on progress probation or ultimately be dismissed from the program. This is a requirement on your admission letter. Okay, so make sure you are prioritizing that. If you're asking yourself, well, how do I enroll into those classes? Should I enroll into my 3 classes and then that? I recommend that you do the deficiencies. They are a part of your full enrollment. So if you have to take 1 or 2 deficiencies, take them and then take also a class that is part of your program requirement. Deficiency waiver request. If you're waiting for a decision on your whether it's going to be waived or if you already tested out and you're just waiting for that, still add it um, to your schedule just in case. We can't guarantee that it is going to be approved. It could be denied. Again, this is not something that advising is a part of. We can help you get to the resources that let you know what you need to do, but ultimately Sky Admissions or Grad Admissions is who is going to be reviewing those. Okay. All right. So interactive plan of study, or also known as your IPOS, this is not this is not needed at the moment, so don't stress too much about it. It will be required for you to be submitted towards the end of your first semester. Okay, and we will have Q&As to give you more information of how to do the IPOS. So when you do the IPOS and if you want to get ahead, most certainly please do so. Submit that IPOS for either non-thesis, unless you have already secured a faculty, then you can submit for a thesis and or applied project. So you'll have those options when you do populate that IPOS through your My ASU. Okay, so again, watch out for those IPOS and thesis info Q&As. We will have those sessions so that if you are interested or want to know more, please join us like you are doing so today. All right, so from My ASU, you have a few tabs here. Your home tab, which is what most people are familiar with, where your classes are. Finances, campus services, profile, and help if you need additional resources. So campus services will give you a lot of resources that are very important. Take advantage of them. You're paying for school. It's a lot, but you have all of these resources and these benefits. Take advantage of them. Use them to, you know, use them for yourselves. a lot of us recommend that you go to the health and wellness resource. Grad school is, challenging. And so before stress starts to, affect us, go and meet the counselors, go talk to them. Being away from home can be a new experience. Get get to practicing your well-being and support yourself, so that you can do well in school. There's more resources here: transportation, student success, all of these things that are available for you. Clubs, be a part of clubs, be a part of groups that can also provide you with that support. Right. So here are a few more resources. Here at ASU, again, complete your orientation. It's important for both, for you guys and for us, so that we know that you guys are getting the information and understanding what you need to do to be successful in your program. Um, a little bit more on Sky Home. This is our main page here. And then a couple more things here, housing, dining, tutoring. Though we can't really answer these in depth for you, we can redirect you to these links, so that you can find the proper resources for these. All right, and then we will have a fall welcome. So if you are an international student, you will have a international student fall welcome as well. So we hope to meet you guys all at this fall welcome. We'll be there. Some faculty, I believe, will be present as well. So Tuesday, August 20th at the Mullet Arena, we'll be there in person. We hope to see you guys in person and get to meet you guys as well. So save the date, and we'll see you there. All right, a few more contacts here. Our hours are Monday to Friday. We do have a lunchtime, guys. We are human. We need to eat. So from 12 to 1 p.m., most times our phones are going to be down for that time so that our staff can eat. But feel free to call us between 8 and 12 or 1 to 5. You can also do an advising appointment yourself through the online scheduling tool. And again, get those orientation quiz done before meeting with an advisor. We also do send emails out with reminders about any Q&As that are going to come through for you guys. Here's our phone number and our email so that you can get in touch with us. Just another FYI, when you do call the front desk, we have student workers there. They are not advising, so please do not start your conversation with in-depth questions that our student workers cannot answer. They're there to help you make those appointments and get in contact with us, okay? All right. And then for international students, here's a few resources, the location for ISSC, as well as they do advising as well. So you can do those appointments if you have any questions in regarding to your visa or travel, what have you, anything to do with your immigration status, their phone number and their email as well. All right, so I'm going to hand this over to Taylor, who's going to go over the submitted questions. And after she is done with this, we're going to go ahead and open up the chat and any questions that you may have, and we'll go over those and answer your questions, okay?
Perfect. Thank you, Erica. So like Erica mentioned, I'm going to go over the questions that were submitted prior to the session starting today. So if you joined late, submitted your question after 9, it might not be here. That's fine. You can just hold on to it and we'll answer it after I go through these questions. So the first question we had submitted was, why can't I enroll in CSE 792 research? This is a PhD level course. I'm not sure if it was a PhD student who submitted this question. Either way, it's for PhD students only, and you do need an override from advising if you are a PhD student to be able to enroll. If you're a master's student, this is not a course you're going to be able to take. Second question is that I want to register for the classes, but the ones I want are not available. Is it okay to wait, or is it recommended to register for what's available? Erica touched on this a little bit earlier. We do recommend that you enroll in courses that are available and then change your registration if seats in your preferred courses open up. Students must be registered for courses by the start of the semester, and you can make changes to your registration until the add deadline, which is in August, as Erica mentioned. So it's recommended that if your preferred classes are not immediately available, enroll in other courses that are open. And if a preferred class opens up, a seat becomes available, you can just swap it out. Is it necessary to have at least one core course in the first semester? In case there are no core classes available to register, what should be my next steps? It's not a requirement to have one core course in your first semester. We definitely recommend prioritizing your core courses, but if there's no seats, you're not able to enroll in one of these courses, then you would just need a plan to take it in a future semester. For this semester, move next to concentration courses if you have those, or elective courses. It's not required that you have one core course in your first semester. Where to find electives in the handbook, I can see that for non-thesis, there is only one elective, and that is FSE 570 capstone. So to be clear, FSE 570 capstone is not an elective. That is a required course for all non-thesis students in the DSE program. You can find the approved DSE electives in the handbook starting on page 11. There should be links to handbooks and course lists in the orientation canvas that you all either have access to, or I've sent the link earlier that you can enroll into now if you're not currently in that course. Erica went over a little bit how to enroll for classes. Again, first do that orientation, which will tell you how to register for classes, what classes to register for. And then you can actually go through the registration process either on your My ASU or via the class search. The screenshots that Erica showed a little bit earlier on the slides demonstrate exactly how to do that for you. How to waive courses with previous credits earned. So if this is in reference to deficiency courses, Erica went over our options for those. You can submit a petition for reevaluation if you feel you've already earned those credits taken that course. You can submit the petition following those instructions, which are outlined on the orientation canvas. If you're asking about transfer credits, we do have the option for a transfer credit request, which can be found on our Sky website. Credits that are applied toward a previously awarded degree cannot be used for transfer credit. There is a cap on transfer credits. If you meant transfer credit by this question, then definitely recommend maybe getting in touch with advising to speak a little bit more about that. But if you meant deficiency courses, again, those choices are outlined on the orientation canvas for you. Who can I contact for assistance? Advising, you can always contact us for help. If we can't help you with your question, we can certainly direct you to someone who can. You can email us anytime. I put our email address here. You can always send us an email. We get back to email pretty quickly. If you have a quick question, that's one of the easiest ways to get it answered. If you have more questions or more in-depth situation, you can schedule an appointment. Erica went over how to do that a little bit earlier. You can do so on your own, online, or you can call the front desk to get an appointment scheduled if you do need one. Do we need to register for the deficiency course classes while the online course is still going on? Erica spoke a little bit about this. If you are planning to waive the deficiency in some way other than taking the course, so if you're planning to do a petition for reevaluation or take the CPE exam, we recommend that you enroll for the course at ASU anyways, just in case, if you haven't received the approval yet. Petitions can get denied. You might not pass the CPE exam. Your safest bet is to enroll for the course at ASU so you have a seat. And if your petition gets approved, you pass the course, you waive it in some other way before classes start, you can, of course, just swap out your courses, take the deficiency off your registration, and add a graduate level course instead. Can I apply for a grant or scholarship if I've already received one? Yes, there's not a cap or limit to the number of scholarships or grants you can apply for. You can submit applications for any scholarships, even if you already have a scholarship awarded to you. Is the health insurance offered by the university compulsory to purchase? Health insurance is mandatory for all international students. It's a condition of your enrollment. I have a link here for more information about that. That might explain some of the different options you have for insurance, and if you have to get it through the university, if you can get it elsewhere. And we also did project earlier the contact information. It's insurance@asu.edu. If you have further questions after reviewing that website, they should be able to help you with a little bit more detail about that. The next question is related to transcripts and degree certificates, things like that. These documents are required by graduate admissions. If you have questions about your documents, whether or not they're going to be counted, when you need to send them, any sort of question, deadlines, things like that, you can reach out to graduate admissions. They have an email queue similar to the one that we have. You can send them an email with your questions. They can respond to you. I put the link here as well for their contact page. You fill it out, it sends them an email, and they get back to you. So those questions are probably best directed to admissions since they're the ones who need those documents. The next question is about immigration while you're at the airport, what sorts of things you'll be asked for. ISSC has very helpful arriving to ASU website. It has different web pages about arriving here, the airport, CVIS check-in, documentation, things like that. All of those things are outlined on that website. I would definitely recommend checking that out to sort of get an idea of what it will look like when you're here, what documents you'll need. Everything like that is outlined there. And then if you do have further questions about that process, once you've gone over that website, like Erica mentioned, you can reach out to ISSC directly. Which classes should I register for? You should complete the mandatory orientation, which will outline your program requirements for you. That'll outline all of the courses required for your program. Like I mentioned a little bit earlier, we recommend generally prioritizing deficiency courses first and foremost, but then after that, core courses, concentration courses, and finally electives. That's not a hard and fast rule. Like I said, if you can't get into a core course in your first semester, it's okay. You can plan to take it in a future semester and enroll for concentration or elective courses instead. That's just how we generally advise that you set up and prioritize your registration for your courses. The next question is asking how to connect with professors. Taking courses with professors and attending their office hours is the best way to build a connection with them. You can speak to them in their office hours. All professors will have office hours that you can attend to talk about things within the course or research that they're doing. If you're interested in doing research on a thesis, you can speak to them about that there, things like that. All instructors and faculty will let you know their preferred methods of communication. If you do take a class with them, they'll let you know if they prefer email, office hours, phone calls, anything like that. They should outline it for you when you start taking classes. Best way to use the resources on campus. Erica highlighted the resources earlier in our presentation. Be aware of the resources, know that you have them, explore the campus services tab of your My ASU and take advantage of them. Like Erica mentioned, you're paying for the services. You're paying to go to school here. The resources are available to you, so take advantage of them. They can be found on those slides and the campus services page. Next question is about enrolling for thesis. So all students are admitted generally as non-thesis, and then they can select to pursue thesis if they want to. You do that by submitting a thesis IPAWS, but to submit a thesis IPAWS, you must have a faculty who has agreed to chair your thesis project. So you first need to have a thesis chair. If you're in your first semester and you think you want to do thesis, but you haven't secured a chair just yet, but your IPAWS is due, you can submit it as a non-thesis IPAWS and change later to a thesis IPAWS once you secure a faculty. We really encourage that students should know by the end of their second semester, they should have an IPAWS that reflects their culminating experience because thesis students are going to want to start taking their thesis credits in the third semester. So if you are interested in thesis, you want to try and have a faculty secured by the end of your second semester at the very latest. The last question is related to paying your fees. You want to pay all of your tuition fees by the tuition deadline in the calendar. The academic calendar has deadlines for tuition payments, registration, enrollment, everything like that. Every deadline that you have is going to be available to you on the academic calendar. So definitely bookmark that page, be familiar with it, and refer back to it when you do have questions about deadlines. So those were all of the admitted questions. So we're now going to open it up to a Q&A. You can submit your questions in the chat, or you can raise your hand and we'll call on you to unmute. Please don't just unmute and start talking.
I do
First,
have
I'm going
one
to answer.
question. Oh,
Yeah.
There's one question in the chat I haven't
Yeah,
answered.
I was going to go ahead and address that question.
Oh, awesome. The
Yeah. Yeah, so the question is about taking CSE 400 level courses as well in your first semester. Yes, you can take CSE 400 level courses in your first semester. These are approved as elective courses and they need to be from the approved list. So there's approved list of 400 level courses. Can't be any 400 level course. It needs to be one from the list here. And keep in mind that computer science students can only take up to 2 courses that are non-500 level, meaning that 8 of your 10 courses need to be CSE 500 level courses. So keep that in mind if you decide to enroll for 400 level courses. Regarding options for tuition payment, you can reach out to the tuition office about that or the financial aid office. The finances tab on your My ASU has direct options for communicating with the financial aid office if you have questions about paying for your tuition. We have a hand raised. You can go ahead and unmute and ask your question.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
My name is Andoliet. I'm a graduate student for the DSAE. I'm trying to understand my first question. I have normally several questions. Let me ask first question. What is the difference between DSE and DSAE? there is a difference between them, or it's in your slides, which is short is coming as analytics as well?
Yeah, so DSAE is the shortening of the program. DSE is going to be the prefix for courses. So all courses will have a 3-letter prefix, CSE, DSE, IEE. That's just the course code. DSAE is the shortening of the entire program name. Like you mentioned, it includes analytics in it. So that's the A in DSAE, and that's why it's different from the course code, because course prefixes are only going to be 3 letters.
Okay, thanks. My second question is about the priority tasks. Yes,
Okay.
I'm normally going to cover all my tuition with my scholarship, which is coming from the third party. So it's already written that in the warrant letter, it's saying that it will cover all the tuition and other kind of things. But how I can close the tasks? It's asking me to pay the deposits so I can enroll the classes.
So
Is that
you're talking
possible?
about the enrollment deposit?
Yes.
Okay, so you'd have to reach out to graduate admissions. They're the ones who handle the enrollment deposits. So that task, you would need to reach out to them to clear that. Like Erica mentioned, some tasks are not set out by advising, so we cannot remove the tasks for you. So if you have questions about the enrollment deposit, you'd have to reach out to graduate admissions about that. If you have other questions, please put them in the chat, hold on to them. We have a couple more in the chat here and some other people raising their hands. So I just want to make sure everyone gets questions answered. So if you have more questions, hold on to them. We can circle back around, or you can put them in the chat.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm going to answer a couple that came in the chat. So one question is, I have 3 deficiency courses. I tried enrolling in a core course, but got the error maximum term unit load exceeded. You cannot take more than 3 courses in your first semester. So if you have 3 deficiency courses, that would be your full enrollment for your first semester. It would just be those 3 courses. Students are not able to enroll in more than 9 credit hours in their first semester. So those 3 deficiency courses are going to be all you're enrolling into. As Erica mentioned, those do count towards your full-time enrollment requirements. So it's fine to be enrolled in only 3 deficiency courses in your first semester. That's fine. We have a hand raised, Ruben, if you want to unmute and ask your question.
Hello, about deficiency courses.
Okay.
The website did mention that you could go to community colleges.
Yeah, so that's an option.
Deficiency course clearance process. Yeah, maybe could you elaborate?
Yeah, so that is an option. The course at the community college needs to be equivalent. So if that's something that you're interested in doing, you'd want to send us an email so that we can get it directed to admissions. The admissions team can review the syllabus for the course that you want to take and verify for you that it will count for the deficiency you want it to count for.
Okay, thanks. So, and this is also applicable for international students, right? So
yes, you want to talk to ISSC if you're planning to take courses outside of ASU. So if you're going to clear a deficiency through a community college, you just want to get in touch with ISSC and make sure that there's no additional processes or documentation that they need from you. But you do want to alert them that you're taking courses at an institution other than ASU.
okay, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Okay, so going back to the chat, it looks like Wendy answered a couple questions. Thank you. She let you know about classes to register for, complete your orientation, and she sent the link for getting your SUN card. There's another question about flying and traveling, arriving to the United States, things like that. These exact questions you'd want to probably direct towards ISSC. Erica put a link in the chat for you with information on that that will tell you exactly the travel basis, how things work that way. And Ruben, to your question, Wendy put a link in the chat for deficiency course equivalencies at a specific community college. Did you have another question? Your hand is still raised. Okay, I'll assume no. Not clear about CVIS. 22nd of August, I should arrive and also visit ASU and make additional registration. CVIS check-in, ISSC has a whole website, a web page about how to do your CVIS check-in and complete that. You do need to arrive by the start of classes and be registered for your courses by the start of classes. So August 22nd, you want to be here by then and have full registration by then. CVIS check-in is a process that you'll have to complete additionally in addition to registering and arriving. So be sure to check out the link that Erica submitted there. And it should explain to you exactly how to do your CVIS check-in. I know you had your hand up earlier. Seems like no one else is putting up any questions now. Do you have further questions? No? Does anyone else have any questions? You can raise your hand or put them in the chat.
Let me ask last question is about the courses. If I was searching for so many courses and most of them was not available. Yes, what we can do in this situation? We should be waiting until there will be extra courses will be open, or how we should handle these things.
Yeah, so if you're saying you were searching for a course and it said course not available or not found, not every course is run every single semester. So it's possible that some courses are not offered in the fall and instead are offered in the spring. So that's one thing. If it's not showing up on the class search, it could be that it's not offered. If you mean seats are full or reserved, things like that, continue to monitor. So if a class is being offered that you're interested in, but it's currently full, continue to monitor the class search. As we've mentioned a couple times, students can make changes to their registration up until August. So it's possible that a course that's full now, a student might switch out of that course into another course and a seat will become available in a course that's currently full as students make changes to their registration. So keep an eye on the class search. If any entirely new sections or courses are added to the class search, everyone receives an email about that ahead of time so that it's fair for enrollment. So keep an eye on your emails as well. If seats don't become available, seats aren't added, you're not able to get your first choice of courses, then you would need to select 3 other courses that are relevant to your degree program that will count towards your degree requirements for your first semester and plan to take your preferred courses in a future semester. In your first semester, it can be difficult because you are arriving to the registration a little bit late. So you're getting admitted past when continuing students are registering for courses. In your second semester, you'll be registering along with all of the other continuing students, and therefore you'll have a better shot of getting into your preferred courses because you're going to be enrolling alongside everyone else. Any other questions? There's a question in the chat about options for doing a library attendee part-time job. If you mean an on-campus library, international students can work on campus from their first semester. So if you are interested in that, we have an on-campus job portal. Erica put that link in the chat. You can use that to look for on-campus jobs, which you're eligible for from your first semester. Yes. You can go ahead and unmute and ask your question. Yeah, so it's the same for everyone. It's ASU wide academic calendar. So I'll go ahead and share my screen to show you what it looks like. So this is the academic calendar. So if you are talking about fall courses, which we all are talking about fall courses here, you can go to fall 2024 on the academic calendar, and you can scroll down and see when the tuition payment deadline is. So for fall, the tuition payment deadline is August 25th. Everyone has access to this at all times. You can always refer back to it if you want to double check a deadline for anything. It has it for usually the current semester and the future semester, so it will have it for spring as well. It's a very helpful resource, and it is students' responsibility to be aware of deadlines for adding classes, paying tuition, things like that. So you want to make sure that you have access to the academic calendar and use it when needed. So I'm gonna kind of answer your question 2 different ways here. So firstly, you said you're not interested in taking the course for credit. You just want to check it out, see how it goes. That's called auditing. We don't recommend that. Auditing costs the full amount of tuition, but it doesn't count towards your degree requirements. It doesn't help your GPA, and it doesn't count towards enrollment requirements for international students. So in terms of just checking a class out, we don't recommend doing that. If you want to request a course that's not currently approved for your program be approved for your program, we do have a process for submitting elective requests. Elective requests are reviewed by the program chair for your program. They'll look at the course that you want to take, the syllabus for the course, and your reasoning for wanting to take it, and make a decision on whether or not you can take the course and apply it towards your degree plan. There is no appeal process. If you submit an elective request and it gets denied, you can't take the course. So that's an option. Those courses should only be related in some way to engineering. So for example, it wouldn't really work to submit like an art request and try to take an art course towards your degree requirements, right? You want to submit elective requests for courses that could still conceivably be in some way related to your degree plan. If you are wanting to take like an art class or a gym class, a yoga class, something like that, just for fun, you can request an override to do that, but you would have to pay tuition for it. It wouldn't count towards your degree requirements nor your enrollment requirements as an international student. So it's very rare that students will do that. Mhm. So you're asking about the courses that are required for you for your program? Yeah, so the required courses are going to be on the mandatory orientation. If you're talking about like the handbook with the list of electives, I know that the most recent master's handbook is not currently showing up on the website. We're aware of that. We're working on getting it added back, but all of the approved electives will be listed in the handbook for you when it's posted on the webpage. And again, the orientation will fully outline your entire program requirements for you and tell you the courses that you're required to take. Mhm. Yeah, so as we mentioned a couple times, take advantage of the resources, check out the campus services tab of your My ASU and take advantage of those things. You have access to them as a student, so take advantage of them. I mentioned also taking advantage of speaking with professors in office hours, building connections in that way. Faculty are required to have office hours. They're there to be available to you. To teach you, help you, build connections, guide you, things like that. So I think make sure that you're aware of everything, actually explore, look through the resources, see which ones would be beneficial to you, helpful to you, and then take advantage of them. They're there for you to be used, and that includes faculty. They're there for you to reach out to. They're there to help you if you're struggling in a class. If you're interested in pursuing a thesis, they're there to help guide you with that, applied project, things like that. So just take full advantage of everything because like Erica mentioned, you are paying for everything. As a student, you do have that access and capability. There is one question in the chat for estimated fees shown on I-20. Is that the tuition to be paid? Can it be paid in installments or must be paid in full? As I mentioned, if you have questions about paying tuition, you want to contact the financial aid office via the finances tab on your My ASU. They'll tell you the different ways you can pay. So if you can, pay in installments, if you need to pay in full, anything like that. Are there any other questions? We have about 15 minutes left. I am happy to set up breakout rooms and put you guys into breakout rooms so you can make some connections with other incoming students. I can go ahead and get those set up. If you do have more questions, you can continue to raise your hand, put them in the chat, anything like that. But I will set up the breakout rooms just in case you guys are interested in joining those. And meeting other students who are joining. Give me 1 second to go ahead and do that. You can go ahead and ask your question. Yeah, I can hear you. Did you say recommend joining the orientation? Oh, yeah. So there are several student organizations. You can find them in the campus services tab that Erica showed earlier. It's a great way to connect with other students. You can go through and explore. They'll each be focused on different things. There are lots of different organizations for specifically undergrad students, specifically grad students, specifically engineering students, specifically women, things like that. There are lots of options. So definitely go through and explore. And if you're interested in making connections with other students, it definitely is very helpful for doing that. And, you know, it can help when you're first coming here. Starting school can be a little bit scary. You can feel a little bit isolated. It can help assuage that a little bit. Yes, you're welcome. Yeah. A question in the chat about changing courses in the middle of the semester if you feel that you need to have it later. We have the add drop deadline. I want to stress it's students' responsibility to be aware of deadlines. Please look at the academic calendar and be aware of deadlines. Do not drop a course after that deadline without speaking to advising first. If you're thinking of dropping a class before you do anything, you should reach out to advising and let us help you with that. Did you have? Like gym facilities there. They also have a website. I'm sure Erica will put the link for the SDFC website there for you so that you can explore it and see what sort of things they offer. But yes, you would have access to that as a student. Any other questions? Just want to remind everyone I did open the breakout rooms. If you didn't get a pop-up to join a breakout room, if you go to the bottom of your Zoom screen, there should be 3 dots that say more. If you click on that, you should be able to then select breakout room option and find the breakout room that you were assigned to if you want to make some connections with other incoming students today. Yes, Ruben.
Yeah, health insurance, is that part of the amount listed in my ASU portal?
I'm not sure if it's listed in the, like if you drop down your current charges, it should say everything that you're being charged for. It should give you a breakdown. If you don't see insurance, it's likely it's not listed there. You can, if you have questions about insurance, check out that website that I mentioned earlier or email the insurance department. It's insurance@asu.edu. They should be able to help you. But if you go into your finances tab, you should be able to drop down your finances, your charges, and it should tell you what the charges are for everything.
Okay, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions from anyone? Yeah, so you pay like a services charge or utilities charge or something like that with your tuition. That gives you access to the amenities on campus, so you don't have to pay extra to access the Sun Devil Fitness Center. There may be like classes or things like that that are additional that you could pay for, but in terms of just generalized access to the facility, you should have that. Erica included the link to the fitness center, and Wendy also mentioned how you can find it via your My ASU. If we pay for health insurance by ASU, that would be sufficient. No need to take private health insurance. Again, health insurance is required. I believe if you get it through the school, that should suffice. But if you have further questions, you should reach out to insurance@asu.edu. Yeah, I totally get it. Unfortunately, I don't know the prices. If you go to that website that I mentioned that Erica just put in the chat or reach out to the insurance department, they should be able to give you more information if it's not on the website for you. But unfortunately, as academic advisors, we don't have much information on the cost of the health insurance provided by ASU. So I would definitely recommend checking out that website. And then if you do have more questions after you look over that, reaching out directly to the insurance department. Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions from anyone? We have about 10 minutes left. So if you do have questions, again, in the chat, raise your hand. You can also join the breakout rooms that I opened. If you don't see the pop-up, you can find it via the More button at the bottom of your screen. So you can join the breakout rooms with the 10 minutes that we have left. If you don't have any other questions, it can be very valuable to know other students who are coming in with you. So it can be a great networking opportunity to make friends right now. If you don't have any other questions, we have the extra time and the breakout rooms are open.
I do have one additional question in my private message regarding our PowerPoint slides and those being on the orientation for them, available to them.
Yeah, so we'll have the link to the slides on the orientation canvas. There's a module on the orientation canvas that says virtual new student Q&A sessions. If you click onto that module on the orientation canvas, it has links to the slides so that you can access that. And it also has a link to submit questions if you want to join a future session that we have. We have a few more new student Q&A sessions coming up. It will have the link to submit questions there as well. So definitely go onto that tab on your new orientation Canvas page to see the slides and to submit questions if you're going to join a further session. Options for clubs that students can join. If you go to the campus services tab of your My ASU, there will be an option for student organizations. You can click into that and you can explore the different options. Erica put also a link to the general website for ASU clubs in the chat that you can explore for options as well. In terms of the model of your phone, the model of your phone should work fine. Older, newer model, it doesn't matter, it should work. It could be an issue with like a SIM card or something like that. Unfortunately, I don't have much more information aside from that, but I can say the year of your phone shouldn't have an impact on whether or not it works. It would be something more with the SIM card or something like that of the phone, but I don't have much more information past that. So that might be something you'd want to Google. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'll put, again, I put links to different scholarship opportunities in the chat. I'll put it again in the chat for you. Erica did as well. This is multiple different avenues of scholarships, so I would advise checking out every single one of them, looking through the options that they have available for you there. They have, ASU has scholarships, the engineering department has scholarships, Sky specifically does, grad college does. There's all sorts of opportunities and options. So I would definitely say look into those and look at every single link. That's probably the best way to get the most information. In terms of a car, I think you said we do have transportation options on campus. So we have shuttles, we have buses, things like that that can get you around campus. We have the streetcar or to other campuses. So if you're taking a class like at the Polytechnic school or something like that, we do have transportation options. Erica will put a link in the chat to the webpage that describes the different transportation options at ASU, and I believe on your My ASU in the campus services tab, you can also access information about transportation. So a car is not necessary. There are other ways to get around. And in terms of getting from class to class, you can basically walk within the Tempe campus from one class to another. You can get between any two buildings in about 15 minutes, even just walking. So shuttles and buses and things like that usually are for longer distances, not just between classes. So you should be able to get by without a car. Yeah. Okay. It's up to you. A lot of students have bikes on ASU campus. There are places that you can lock up your bikes specifically. There's little alcoves that you can lock bikes and things like that. But there are, things can get stolen on bikes. I believe that there's options for like bike insurance that you can purchase, things like that. It's really up to you. And if you think that you want or need a bike, you certainly can. But of course, there's no way for me to guarantee that nothing will happen to the bike. Yeah, you're welcome. Erica put a link in the chat to answer the question about bikes for transportation or renting them. So you can check out that link for more information. Any other questions for anyone? We have about 5 minutes left. One of my courses I've registered for the first semester mentions polycampus as well as internet hybrid. Can you explain about this? Yes, so ASU has a few different campuses. Students can take courses at any of the campuses. Polytechnic is a different campus than Tempe, so it's one you have to travel to. You can check out the transportation options that Erica listed in the chat to see the different ways that you can get to Poly. Something that's important to note is that if you have a class on the Poly campus and you're planning to use something like a shuttle to get to Poly, it can take a while to get there. On the shuttle, it can take about an hour. So don't schedule a Tempe and Poly class like 15 minutes apart. You're not going to be able to transport yourself between those two campuses in that amount of time. So if you're going to take a class at Poly and classes at Tempe, you either want to have them, one in the morning and one in the afternoon or on separate days. In terms of internet hybrid course means that some of the instruction of the course is in person and some of it is online. The hybrid course modality and the dissemination of material is at the discretion of the instructor, meaning the instructor will tell you when you have to be in person and when you can go online. It's going to be different for every hybrid course because the instructor sets those rules. So when you have access to the syllabus for the course, you want to make sure that you look over that fully and take note of when you need to be physically there in person in the classroom and when you can either join via Zoom or do online activities instead. So that's one of the course modalities where it's partially in person, partially online. There will also be fully in-person courses, which will just list Tempe or Poly as the sole location. And then there are also I-courses, which would be fully online. Any international students need to have at least 6 credit hours of in-person or hybrid courses. So you couldn't take more than one I-course in a semester if you're an international student. That's something to note as well. But that's a little bit about the different modalities that courses are offered here. Any other questions from anyone?
Yeah, I have a doubt. So I just asked about this polycampus and internet hybrid, right?
Okay.
So actually, I have taken 2 courses, but both are on Wednesday, and there is only 15-minute gap, as you said. One of the courses in Tempe, and just after minutes, my other courses at polycampus. So would that be hectic for me to travel to?
Yeah, it wouldn't be possible even if you had your own car to get between Tempe and Poly in 15 minutes. So I would advise going back to the class search and adjusting, selecting a different course. If they're in, if it's 15 minutes between those two courses, there's no possible way that you could do one course at Tempe that ends at 1 and start one in Poly at 1:15. It's not possible. So unfortunately, you're probably going to have to switch either the Tempe course or the Poly course to give yourself a little bit more time to get between the two courses.
Okay, so it's better to change the course. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I would recommend for sure. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Christina mentioned in the chat, it's at least 45 minutes to an hour to travel between Poly and Tempe. So when you are looking through the class search and looking for other options, if you are going to take classes at Poly, it's totally fine. You're allowed to, and it's a beautiful campus. You just want to make sure you give yourself enough time to travel between. We have about 1 minute left if there are any last minute questions. Thank you guys for joining. You had really great questions. If you come across any other questions, you can send us an email or schedule an appointment. Ruben, I can take your question real quick.
Is there like an attendance minimum requirement like that we have to have? An 80% requirement or something?
So attendance requirements are going to be outlined by the instructor of your courses. They'll tell you when you need to be in class and they'll monitor attendance in their own ways. In terms of enrollment, like I mentioned, if you're an international student, you need to have 6 credit hours of in-person or hybrid enrollment on your registration, but the actual number of times you have to go to that class is going to be at the discretion of the faculty.
Okay, thank you again.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other last minute questions? Okay, well, that is an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and close everything up. Like I mentioned, if you do come across any other questions, you can go ahead and send us an email. Our email is sky.grad.tempe@asu.edu or sky.grad.poly if you're a software engineering student. Feel free to send us an email if you come across any other questions. We're also going to be hosting more new student information sessions in the future. So if you do have more questions that weren't answered in this session, you can attend a future session. Like I said, the link to submit your questions or review the slides from this session are on the new student orientation canvas in the virtual new student Q&A module. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Erica, for being my co-host, for Christina and Wendy helping me out in the chat. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
I just have a doubt, one small doubt. So while registering for the courses, as of now, like most of the courses are filled right as of now. So before they start, before 2-3 days before the start of the classes, is there any chance that any course might open up or something like that?
Yeah, so I addressed this earlier. Students can make changes to their registration until August. So it's possible that students will drop out of a course and allow a seat to open up in a course that's currently full. You just want to monitor the class search, but there is no guarantee. So if the seat doesn't open up, you want to be registered for other courses just in case you're not able to make the adjustment, and then plan to take the course that you prefer in a future semester.
Okay, and all there's a requirement for taking one foundation systems and application, right? So if there's not a possibility of taking all the three requirements, so is there
Yeah,
option for?
this is the last question I'm going to answer. The time has passed, so I'll answer this question really quick. And then if you have more questions, come to a future session or send us an email. In terms of foundation systems and applications for computer science students, you do have to have one each foundation systems and applications throughout your time at ASU, but you do not have to have one foundations, one systems, and one applications